Hi and good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. You are watching Esther from Stampin' Star Creations. So I've been doing a Christmas countdown over the last few weeks on Monday. You can't see my dealy boppers, can you? On Monday and Tuesdays at 9 o'clock. Tonight I've got a fancy fold card for you, and tomorrow we've got one last project. I think it's going to be another card. I might do something else, I'm just going to see. Welcome, Steph, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining on. Do let me know who you are, where you're coming in from, especially if you are new to my channel. Now, I know that my sister is on live at the moment from her channel, so no doubt we'll get some more people joining us later, which is absolutely fine. So if you want to see my dealy boppers, they're a bit too tall to fit in the, I need to go up a little bit. So today, we have got a fancy fold card. I feel miles away now. We've got a fancy fold card. Now, I'm not sure if it was called Cascading, if it's called, I think it's called a Z fold, but I in my head it's Cascading. But I know that there's a different card like that called a Cascading card. So maybe I should call it a fancy fold Cascading Z fold card. I've never seen Christmas pudding ones before. They're a bit distracting once they start bobbling about. So I thought, oh, it's December. We're allowed to, you know, my decorations are up. We've got to go, you know, got to go all out for December. Nova Scotia. Hi, Anne. Welcome. I do like the Canadian accent, especially when you say a boot. That's my impression. Okay, who wants to get started? Let's get started. I'm just going to see if I can call up your comments on here first. Hi, I watch Ruth on catch up. Now I've put you on time. Thanks, Christine. Hi there, Sheila. Welcome, everybody. Hi there, Anne-Marie. And who else have I missed saying hello to? Hi, Michelle from Australia. Welcome. Hi, Anne. Another Anne. Louisa, Connie, Ellie, and Misty. Steph, I think I've got everybody, so welcome. And hi Kay, and hi Cindy. Right, how do I call it up on here? Okay, hopefully I'm not going to get echo. Good, this is working. This is working. Thank you, like my little puddings. Let's get started. Okay, let's block that over. Oh, we're going to see if this works. Oh, I forgot to press the button first. Never mind, you get the drift. Right, I know some of you like to see what we're making before we actually make it. So there's going to be a little bit of reflection going on. Oh, hi there, Janice. You can't stay, but you'll catch me on replay. Hi, Janice on replay, if you're watching this on replay. Thank you, Michelle. Right, so I'm going to show you a sneak peek, because I know, especially people watching this on replay, they're like, I don't want to go to the end to find out what's happening. So this is the card we're going to make today. Okay, so this is what I mean by cascading, by fancy fold, and by Z fold. So you can make up your mind what you want to call it. I'm going to call it all three. I just couldn't fit it in the title. So we're going to be using this beautiful Snowfront stamp set, which is available until beginning of January, I reckon. This is the Snowfront stamp set, and I've used it already in a couple of my projects for my Christmas countdown. I'm just going to grab out the cards in the hope that I don't knock everything else down, just to show you. You might wonder how on earth I got this from this, but you can go and check out those YouTubes that I've done to show you how I've done those. And I'm not finished yet with Snowfront. I've still got more ideas. So I've been prepared, mounted my stamps onto my blocks. They are clear, so you can see where you're stamping. Kay says she's got Ruth on the iPad and me on the other. One in one ear, one in the other. That's a bit terrifying. Oh, the other thing I didn't get ready is my colours. So I'm going to have to grab out my inks in a minute. Can I just show you my mug as well, without spilling my tea? Can you see what it says? Look, Mama Elf. How cool is that? I like it anyway. Right, so should we grab out our colours now? Okay, sorry, I was trying to be super organised, but I've got a workshop on Thursday, so I've been trying to prepare for that as well. So I've been a little bit busy, and I've been trying to make little gifty things for my attendees. So we're going to be using, Can you see what colours I'm using? Cherry Cobbler, Garden Green, Early Espresso, Smoky Slate, and did I put Pool Party somewhere? I was very organised and I put it back in the box. And Pool Party. Thanks, Louisa. Thanks, Kay. I've got all sorts of mugs. I've got a bit of a Christmas collection going on with my mugs. So those are our colours. Right. Now, because I'm in the UK, I'm going A4 sizes, but using USA inches, just to confuse everybody. So hopefully you can work this out in centimetres. So I'm going to zoom you in so that hopefully you can see my board. And oops, sorry, this is where it zooms in and out at the same time. So I wanted to make sure that this card would fit in our standard C6 envelope. So I'm cutting this paper down to 5 7/8, which is just before the 15cm mark. Hi there, Jenny and Debbie. Ellie says, my son came home from work today with 3 Christmas mugs. The ladies at work spoil him. I love getting mine second hand because you never quite know what you're going to get. Like just getting all sorts of different mugs. So basically that cuts it down to an A6 size. And then I'm going to mark at 2 inches. So you can do this in a couple of ways. You can nick it with your blade. You can do a little pen mark at the score line just so we know where we're aiming for. Okay, so just a tiny mark there. Hopefully you can see that. Then we are going to go, okay, let me leave it where it was. That's just your 2-inch mark there. Oh, thank you, Ali. Ali likes my nails. I like to change it up. They started getting chipped. They might be shorter than last week's video, you might have noticed. There's trouble with working hands. Okay, so what we're doing here is I'm putting my 2-inch mark back in there. I don't know what you can see and what you can't. And then I'm going at a diagonal. I'm going to see if I can lift this right up so you can see. So going from my 2-inch mark down to the corner of my paper. Okay. And this just about fits into the trimmer and should hopefully fit into normal standard size trimmers. There's enough, just enough length to do that. Okay, so obviously don't chuck your paper away, you can use that for other projects. Then we are going to do some scoring. So this is what you should have, okay. I'm just going to flip it over because I like to have the thicker side on my left. Then we are going to score it at 3 7/8 of an inch. Let me just move my cutting blade out of the way. And then we're going to move that score line along to 3 7/8. So you might want to fold your paper at this point so you can see what you're doing. Oh, I can't, I'm not showing you, am I? There you go. Okay, so that first score line was 3 7/8, moving it across and scoring it again at 3 7/8. So I've just got a question come in from Ellie. What are the measurements stuck at the top of your trimmer for? Ellie's referring to my labels at the top here. So I get a bit confused with numbers, and so it's just so much easier to have a label which tells me that was 2 7/8. Oh, thank you, Misty. That's going to be too small. Look, I'm going to have to cut that again. Well done, Misty. Sorry. Oh. I thought I was good at multitasking. I'm glad you told me now because I would have been a bit stuck otherwise. So I can cut it even quicker this time because I know I don't have to show you again. Now, incidentally, I do have a video up of my bottle carrier, and I know I've made a mistake on that with measurements. So, and I've been meaning to correct it, but I've not had a lot of time to sort that out properly. So, sorry about that. Make sure this is not quite at the 2 inches. So the label at the top of my my trimmer is to do with matting and layering cards. So they're standard size that I use for layering onto coloured card, right? Concentrate, Esther. 3 7/8. So 3 is near the 4, 7/8 is the 2 notches beforehand. Let's try again. Thank you so much for spotting that. I'd be in trouble otherwise if I tried to carry on. It wouldn't quite work the same. So the first score is so you have a very thin, sorry, not the score. The first size is so you get a thin border. The second size is like about an inch border. And then the smallest ones, if I've got some offcuts of paper and I wanted a smaller mat and layer. Right, let's try again, shall we? So that's better, look. That fits nice and flat. Okie dokes, let's get stamping. So I had this idea and I was so pleased when it actually, sometimes you can have ideas and they don't quite work out how you want them to. So I'm going in with smoky slate. I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper. And the way that I design this is you want to maximise your paper. So I'm going in with half a mountain and then stamping down a bit to get that double layer. And then now you can connect your, sorry, to bring you down a bit. Now you connect the second mountain to this first one. So optimizing as much as possible the card. I'm going to double stamp that as well. I'm just going to refer back to my picture. Now, I did add another mountain, but I didn't, if people are going to look at the back, I didn't want them to see any boo-boos, any bits hanging over stamping wise. So I'm just masking off that so it doesn't contaminate that area of the card. And then I'm going to come back in with some more mountains just to fill this back area here. You don't have to go like too wild with it, but you want to have a nice coverage on the background. I'm working on tea bag folding for a card and listening. Oh, Cindy's multitasking. Okay, so for the second layer, don't keep on stamping. We're going to flip over because we now want to stamp on this side. So for the middle section, we're stamping on this side. And for this one, I'm going to be using these trees. I'm just going to swap my block over because I couldn't find one big enough. And I'm going to go in with garden green. Again, we're trying to optimise that space and cut the least paper possible. God, I've got to get my teeth in tonight, haven't I? So I might actually stamp this twice as well, just to give a nice shadowing effect. And then just joining up those. Now be careful because I keep, with these bigger blocks, I keep smudging my ink. So you might want to get a chamois on hand just to wipe the edges. Block. Just to make sure you don't have any ink transfer. Oh look, I did have something across my page there. Just adds to the texture. Okay, we'll do another one about there. You'll be icing your hands. Oh, right, that was Cindy. Cindy's having a little chat. So we're going to fill up this space with a nice forest. Like so. Who else has got this stamp set? Has anybody else got this? Oh, there is a stamp I haven't taken out, and that's the largest of the single trees. Hi there, Janice. Now, is it this largest one? Let me just check. Yes, it's the very largest of all of them in the pack. Ellie, I don't believe you don't have this set. Right, so we're flipping back over. So we've got the mountains, and then we're going to do the house scenery on this bit down here. So I'm just referring to my. It's a good job I did one before. We've got lots of people that have this set. Great. It's way more versatile than I thought it was initially. When I first got it, I just thought, yeah, a bit limiting. But actually, Michelle's, I do never quite know what to do with them. I know what you mean. I tell you what throws me was the scale. Let me just concentrate 2 seconds while I sort my tree out. I think I always imagine it to be bigger than it is. But actually, the stamps are true to form on the stamp set. So they're not, you've got to kind of downscale everything. So you can't be working on a great big project. You might want to check out my Christmas sampler. That's quite a nice way of just breaking down the elements to create smaller pictures. Great for tags as well. I've been doing lots of, I really got into tags, and I've been doing some tags using this set. The idea is just trying to use as much of the edge as possible to work with, so you've got that cascading still remaining without completely taking away a lot of card. Kay says she only owns 2 stamp sets from the holiday catalogue. Which ones are they? I'd love to know. So with this long lake one, I've gone for the bumpy bit towards the top. Again, I don't know, I think it just takes up more space, which is what we want. So let's pop him there. Oh, while I've got this colour out, I'm going to add a snowman into the scene. Okay, Mr. Snowman. Sip Sip Parade and Nature's Beauty. Oh, two very good ones. Very versatile. I think all stamp sets can be versatile. Just got to keep playing. Okay, going in with the double trees. Or triple trees. Triple trees. Do excuse my voice, Dave. Had a cold. And I'm just sidestepped ever so slightly, so I'll have a shadow. I'm not too bad. It kind of comes in waves. It's a bit weird. It's a weird cold. And again, just sidestep. Actually, I'm going to sidestep in this direction so I don't get any streaky lines. Okay, let's bring on the deer. Now, I don't want the deer to be the same colour as the trees. I'm going to stamp off once and then bring them into the foreground. Let's offset you a little bit over there. That's better. Good. So we've got a nice contrast. Right, this is the bit that's a little bit tiresome, but well worth it, I think, anyway. Ellie's seen my sampler and says it was lovely. Thank you. I might just push these stamps away from me. I'm a bit paranoid because with my first one that I did, or my first actual card, I managed to, what's the word? Smudge it. Okay, I'm going to start with these a bit. So what you want to do, I feel like I zoom much. There you go. You can get a sense of the size. Is just work along the lines of your picture. Now, ideally, you don't want to get too close. Give yourself a little bit of space because it just, one, it gives you a bit of a border, and two, if anything happens, you've got a bit of leeway. So I'm going to go as fast as I can without spoiling my card. So it's quite nice to have the curvy lines. When it comes to the trees, don't go too, I mean, I know some people love fussy cutting, don't they? So then let's cut I've got to be in the mood for fussy cutting. So with the trees, I'm not going to spend ages going around these. I just want to get a rough outline, giving the impression that there are trees. So I think this is still called a Z-fold card, but trouble is, if you search Z-fold, it comes up with other Z fold cards. Right, you might see now that I'm getting to the join. What's she going to do here? I'm cutting down my join like this, and that's fine because you've got the tree on the outside to compensate for that. I'm just going to cut that down like that. Okay, so quite straightforward. Just follow the outline of what you've been stamping. And again, the same with the mountains, you know, don't spend forever. Just roughly going around. So like you can see, hardly any waste because of the way that I've stamped it. I might just jiggy jaggy that bit. Okay, so that's on my waist, not a lot at all. Seems funny doing a winter scene in our summer. But then we had snow in the mountains yesterday and bushfires down the road. Crazy. I mean, we don't get a lot of snow here, so I'm just going to crease this down. I know it is a bit weird doing snow when there is no snow. Ta-da! And that stands like that. Now you could do it the other way, but I don't know. I quite like this way. So the other idea I toyed with is actually using the pool party with the same colour as the mountains because it's snow, but this seemed to work better with the contrast. So what I'd like to do, if you wanted to hang around, is I have a blue piece of card here. I wanted to try it with basic black and gold, but I've used my basic black up for another project. So I might try a very classic white and blue. So if you want to stick around, I wanted to see what this looked like with craft white ink on our Night of Navy cardstock. So I'm just going to give that a crease. You'll be happy to know, look, I've cut it all out already. Looks like a Swiss chalet. Oh, Jenny. Thank you, Queen 2. Oh, thank you. Well, exactly. You don't want to be there all day. It's a Christmas card. It's not a work of art that you're going to, you know, well, it is a work of art, but you know what I mean? It's up to you how long you spend on your fussy cutting. But hopefully I'm here to show you that you don't have to spend ages on your fussy cutting. You can do it with in less time. The secret is obviously keeping your scissors as straight as possible, moving the card, and cut away big chunks. Don't be there trying to cut around those bits. Right, if you're up for it and want to stick around, I'm just going to grab my craft white ink. Now, just bear in mind that this ink acts a bit differently from our other inks, meaning that it doesn't dry as quickly. So just bear that in mind when you are working with craft ink. So it'll be interesting to see how many smudges I get out of this one. So I might be able to do this. Now, do you want to do this in the opposite direction? Or do you want to stick with what we've got? Let me know, because I'm going to start inking up. Now, I'm not sure. I mean, I could do with a refill for my Whisper White ink, but hopefully. So did you want to try this way, or did you want me to try the other way? Like this. I'm thinking let's try a different way. I'll just answer my own question. If I can remember which way it goes. Opposite. Right, great. I've got one vote. Let's try it. Let's see how it works out. So I'm going to use my same rules and do half a mountain. Oh, somebody said same. It's too late. So if you wanted to do this in, what was I going to say, in embossing powder, you could. Well, I'm not double stamped, have I? It doesn't matter so much, I don't think. Go back in and give it some more stamping. It looks like waves of a sea, doesn't it? Oh, there's an idea. Right, don't forget to turn over, Esther. As you could do, you know, carry on the same design, but I just find it easier to work by turning it over. I could do with another scrap of paper. Oh, now this is interesting because the trees aren't quite fitting on in the same direction, are they? Ah, See, this is why I do it, you see. I do it so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. See, can you notice that with the other, because the trees are going in this direction, it's stamping differently, but that's okay. I mean, it still works. I'm going to just go over some of the images I've done already to make them brighter, a brighter white. So that's what we've got so far. Why am I not getting the... That'll be an awfully choppy ocean. It'll be good for the high tide sentiment, wouldn't it, about stormy seas. Now this is interesting because I might need to stamp things opposite then. If that's going to go there, my big tree needs to be here, so I do about half a tree-ish. Give them a bit more tree to it. And come in with the house. Now you can use your chamois on this. You could just give it a wash, it comes off. Chamois is pretty amazing. Let's put our pond or our lake or whatever you want to call it. Why is he not fitting on? Now again, that's interesting. He's slightly different. Everything's in the opposite direction, so it doesn't fit on quite the same. Thanks, Esther. I have that set, so I'll have a sentiment for it. Okay, snowman. Stick him there. Trees. Shadowy trees. And deer. Oh dear, oh dear. There. So we're not swapping out colours, so it makes it kind of quicker. So same again, chopping down the mountains. I'm going to come down a bit with those trees. Can you see? Sorry, sometimes you get so engrossed into what you're doing, you forget that people are watching or that the camera isn't actually at the right angle, so sorry about that. It is making me work harder, you're right, because things are going in the opposite way. What you could do is to use the other trees. There's plenty of trees in this stamp set to create your background, but talk proper English, Esther. Because this has got three or four trees as a collection, it works. So this goes to show, I think, by doing it the first way is probably easier because of the direction the stamp's going in. I don't know why I can't speak tonight. Brain not quite engaged with mouth. So you can try all different colours with this. Zoom out a bit. Thank you, Shirley. Sheila. Did I say Shirley? Sheila. There we go. Okay, let's see what this looks like. So this is going the opposite direction. You might be thinking, where am I supposed to write the sentiment? You write it on the back. You can even, on this sort of dark card, you can... I'm just going a bit cautiously because I think my ink is probably still a little bit wet. You can stick a piece of Whisper White card on the back to write your sentiment. And there's our monochrome card. What do we think to that? I like it. It's different, isn't it? And it's so much quicker because you're using one colour. Might be easier for a lefty to cut out. There's a good point. So tell me, which do you prefer? Lefty or righty? Totally different versions. Now, it's funny how things come to you, because I only literally thought about this just as I was coming on, just a few minutes before coming on live. So I'd love to know your thoughts. Which one do you prefer? Are you more of a realist? Do you like this kind of thing? I always have to stamp the house, not always, but generally have to stamp the house in red. So Janice, I was talking about the card fold earlier and saying that it's technically called a Z fold. Is that called a trifold card? I'm going to make up a new name for it. Yeah, Jenny's likes them equally. Christine says, I've never used SU's craft white ink. People are saying they love both. They're very different, aren't they? It's like comparing chalk with cheese. So a trifold card, but I've also looked it up as a Z-fold card. So, because trifold cards can be other things. So I think it's a trifold, Z-fold, fancy fold, cascading card. I'm making up my own name for it because let's talk to you face to face. And then for those of you who've missed it, you can see my dealy boppers. I'd looked up a few different tutorials. A zigzag, yeah, it could be called all sorts. Maybe I have to tag all those things. I like to stamp white scenes on light of navy, yes. It's just so classic. It is a mouthful, but I'd like to, you know, be a bit different and make sure people can find what they're looking for. Waterfall trifold card. Crafts Test Dummies did a review of white ink and SU is one of the top choices. Great. Like I said, it does take a little while to dry, but once it's dry, it comes out quite white. It's not as maybe bright white as some may want it to be. I'd go embossing if you want to do that, but it's still quite, no, what's the opposite of opaque? Yeah. So I think a cascading card, do I have time to, I'm not going to get up off my chair because you'll see all the mess. A cascading card, I think, kind of crosses into each other. So you have a similar sort of, more transparent, thank you, similar sort of look to this, but these actually slot into one another. That's technically cascading. This I looked at, I'm sure this came up as a Z fold, although a Z fold is also another kind of card. So it does get a little bit confusing. So trifold, and it's not a waterfall card either. So maybe you guys can suggest what I should call it, but I'm going to change the title. Now, when you go on live, you're only limited to what you can fit in the title. So I can't write as much as I want to in the title unless I go back and edit it afterwards. If you stamp both sides of the same scene, the recipient will choose which way they're held. Good point. Love your festive deedy boppers. Thanks. You come back. I've got some other ones, but actually they got a bit broken. But I haven't had a chance to wear them. So I'll be back tomorrow for the last Christmas countdown, and hopefully I'll do a review of what I've been making over the last 12 projects. It's been such fun, and it's really worked my brain, and it's so lovely to have the projects in front of me to see what how they've all turned out. A zigzag fold, that's a good name. It'd be really weird not doing my Christmas countdowns. But do you know what? I've had so many ideas that I've even started writing a list for next year. So watch this space. I might have to find another countdown to do, some other kind of countdown. Just a yearly countdown. Thank you so much for your company. It's been lovely to see you. I'm back tomorrow on Facebook at 8:30. Every Tuesday, if I can make it, I'm there doing a Facebook Live, and then I come over to YouTube at 9 o'clock to do my Christmas countdowns. Now, sorry, the comments are zooming past me. Jenny's got loads of ideas for this style. Fantastic. Start a New Year's countdown. Ooh. Can you explain why your room looks reversed sometimes? I think it's just to do with the mirroring and the camera and how that works. Thanks for sharing. Bev loves the navy version. So as far as I'm concerned, this is how my room is, but on Facebook it's a mirror image for some reason. Don't know why. So this is to my left and this is to my right. So if I show you this as it is, this I know for a fact, if I showed you some writing, I'm trying to find my, oh, come here. I know that this shows up the right way, doesn't it? I'm just checking. But if I go on Facebook, I think it's to do with, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's mirror. Just trying to read the comment. Love the film on Golden Pond. Not heard of that. If you stamp in black and gold. Yes, that's what I was thinking of doing. Colour combo them, doing gold on black, but I didn't have I run out of black cards because I'm using it for my workshop on Thursday. Facebook doesn't reverse the image. Yes, yeah, I think it's to do with phones and things like that. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to shoot off and hopefully catch you all tomorrow. Head over to my Facebook page at 8:30 and I'll be here at 9 o'clock. I've got another idea for using the snow front, and I might give you a bonus project. I'm thinking. There's so many ideas that we could do, and hopefully I'll talk through what I've made as well. So lots to fit in tomorrow. Lovely to see you. Great to have your company. Do press that subscribe button if you're not already to catch me live, and if you press the bell, it should give you a notification. It doesn't go ding dong, but it'll give you a notification. Great to see you. Take care. Thank you for those catching this on replay. God bless. Lots of love. Bye.